among protesters growing, and Republican Congressman Tom McClintock found out the hard way he needed police to escort him from a town hall meeting he had planned. He's here to respond to those developments now. Congressman, good to have you. It got pretty crazy there. What happened?
Well, I've held over 100 town hall meetings with my constituents over the last 8 years, including throughout the entire lifespan of the Tea Party and Occupy Wall Street. This was the first time the police department determined that I needed a police escort for security reasons.
All right. Well, whatever was going on, one of the protester organizers was quoted in the LA Times as saying, I think the importance was to show Mr. McClintock that we are not going to stand for anyone who's on board with the Trump agenda. He apparently resides in your district, went on to say we weren't just going to smile and nod the whole time. Well, he needn't worry, they didn't. But did it ever get violent?
No, the police kept it under control. But the interesting thing is they're not objecting because Donald Trump has broken any campaign promises. They're objecting that he's keeping all of his campaign promises. And, of course, that is the result of the election. And not just this election, but the last 4 elections.
I'm wondering, when you go about planning other meetings with your constituents, do you have to then check that with local law enforcement? How does it go?
Well, yeah, I think we're going to have to coordinate much more closely with local law enforcement and get much bigger venues as long as these events are being targeted by organized groups.
Well, what was the single biggest beef they had, Congressman? I know they don't like the Trump agenda. Were there particular standouts on that agenda? I mean, to your point, he's doing everything he said he was going to do. Now, that's a consequence of an election, of course. But what is it they particularly didn't like?
It ran the gamut of all Trump policies. They do not like Donald Trump and are not happy that they lost the election. But, you know, that's what elections are all about. I tried to tell them there were many Americans who disagreed just as fervently with Barack Obama as you do with Donald Trump, but they didn't riot in the streets. They engaged in a conversation with their fellow citizens, and that produced one of the great political realignments of our nation's history. You know, our institutions are very good at resolving differences such as those we're experiencing today, but it requires people to talk with each other and not shout at each other. And unfortunately, that's the line we seem to have crossed in recent days.
You know, there is a rationale for this, that it's payback for Republicans and intransigence in the face of things that Barack Obama wanted to do, and that Democrats are returning the favor or the lack thereof, and that this is going to be the theme for the next 4 years.
Yeah,
I don't know who's wrong or right on this
one.
Well, you're right about that. But now we begin to wonder, what are you guys, issue-wise, agreed on where you can work with each other? Because I don't see any olive branch, you know, handing over here.
Well, yeah, obviously that is very frustrating. But the American people have made it very clear they want a dramatic change from the Obama years. And they've done that in 4 elections in which the Democrats have lost 67 U.S. House seats, 12 U.S. Senate seats, 10 governors, more than 900 state legislative seats, and the presidency itself. So the people have spoken very clearly. Congress and the president have a mandate. It's important that we listen to everyone. Because we're going to be judged. For example, on Obamacare, we're going to be judged on leaving our country a better health care system than the one we found.
All right, Congressman, thank you very much. Good catching up with you. I'm glad you're physically well. That was a little scary.
Thank you.